everybody, my name is Simone and welcome to Simone's Bedtime Stories. Me and my pals are getting ready to sleep and my dad is going to tell us some bedtime story.
You ready, Simone?
Yes.
Alright, so what story shall we tell? Okay, let's tell this story. So remember, you know this game called chess?
Yes. Yes.
Are you good at playing chess?
Mm-hmm.
When did you learn chess?
You taught me.
Okay, alright. So there is this guy, right? So there is this guy that came up with this chess game. So you know how the chess game works, right? There are two armies. There is a black army and there is a white army.
And the white army have to try to defeat the black army's king, and the black army have to try to defeat the white army's king?
Exactly. So that's how it works. Basically, these guys will have to arrest the other king and these guys will have to arrest the other king. So that's the goal, right? So they have, elephant, they have horses.
They have an elephant, a horse, some soldiers, a bishop, a queen, and a king.
Exactly. I mean, 2 elephants, 2 horses, 2 bishops, a queen and a king, and then they have some soldiers. So both sides have some soldiers.
Yes.
So the guy, he came up with this concept of the chess. He said, hey, king has to go like this. They all travel within this white boxes and black boxes that are on the chessboard. So, the guy came up with an impressive game and people enjoyed playing the game and, everybody was so excited, think of different strategies and different ways to arrest the other king and all that. So he went to the king and he said, hey, I came up with this game and, the king was happy. Wow, you did a great job. It's a really nice game that you came up with. So, what can I give you? The guy said, hey, how about this? Give me a reward. Give me this reward. How many squares are in the chessboard?
There's 64.
How is it 64?
Because there are 8 rows and 8 columns.
Exactly. So there are 8 columns, right? And then each column has 8 rows. So
8
there are totally
squares in one column. And
exactly.
Then,
yeah.
And then for the row there are 8.
So how many black squares are there and how many white squares are there? So totally how many squares are there?
There's 64.
So how many colors? Black is one color, white is one color. So 2 colors are there, right? So how many black boxes and how many white boxes are there?
32.
32. So 64 divided by 2, there are 32 white boxes and 32 black boxes. So, they travel, between the black and white depending on what the allowed path for every power is, right? Every elephant is.
To make sure the other team doesn't kill the power.
Exactly. So the guy said, hey, king, just give me this. I'm not asking for too much. Just give me this. The guy said, give me this. For every square, give me 1 rice. For the first square, give me 1 rice. And for the next square, double it. And for the next square, double that. And for the next square, double that. So give me like that for all the 64 squares, he said. So
you start with 1 and then you keep doubling until it's the end of the board.
Exactly. So you start the first corner.
Grains,
first put 1 rice grain. And then put in the next box,
2,
how many you put?
Because 1 plus 1 is 2.
Okay, and the next grain, next box,
4.
how many? And the next box?
Was 8.
And the next box?
16.
So like that you keep doubling every single box all the way till.
So you have to start with 1 and then you add the same number to itself. And then after you keep adding the number to itself, you have to do it for the whole entire 64
and then he wanted everything, right? So the king was like, wow, whoa, no big deal, all you're asking is few rice grains, I'll give you, just take it. Hey, he called his accountant. Hey, accountant, come on, accountant, give him whatever he's asking. So the accountant took him.
And the king thought it's going to be too easy, but...
Yeah, the accountant took this guy and they started counting. So they kept that board, and then the first 1 rice, 2 rice, 4 rices, 8 rices, 16 rices. So they kept on going, and they were doing this for 3 days. After 3 days, the accountant came back to the king and said, "Hey king, we have a problem." What is the problem? We ran out of rice grains in the entire kingdom to give it to this guy. Why? What happened? So that's when the king realized his folly, right? The king...
What's folly?
Folly means, king made a mistake.
Thought it was so easy, but
it's actually hard. Yeah, it turned out that what this guy asked was a lot of rice.
So what the guy asked was, you have to put 1 rice here, and then when you double it, you have to put 2 rice here, and then you double it, you put 4 rice here, and then when you double it, you put 8 rice on that square. So when you double it, you add the number to itself, and then you put how many squares, that equals 8 plus 8, 16. So you put 16 grains of rice on that square.
Exactly, and then keep on doubling, and imagine
that many
doing
rice
that
on that square.
Exactly, and imagine doing that doubling 64 times, and by the time you got to the 64th square, he had so much rice he had to get, and that's when the king realized, how powerful.
He thought it was so easy,
but it's not, and the king screwed up, and the king said, "Hey, sorry, I cannot give you that much. I don't have that much rice." So that's when that's the power of doubling. If you find something that doubles, the power of doubling is you have to be very, very careful.
Or tripling.
Yeah, you have to be very careful when you deal with this doubling thing. When you're doing math, or when you're talking to someone and someone is asking you something like this, you have to be extremely careful in what you're trying to do, the number wise, right? It sounded simple. Hey, all I want is this much rice, and just double double of every rice grain in every square. But it's not really that simple. That's the power of doubling. Okay, that's the end of the story.
Bye everybody. I hope you enjoyed my story, and don't forget, you can always listen to more.
All right, we're done. This one was a short, 7